Hello, I'm going to do a Gimp tutorial. Gimp is free, open source, GNU software image manipulator. It's an alternative to Photoshop, which, as you may know, can run hundreds of dollars for a license. So this is free. Okay, we're going to start by making a new file. They have templates here with different sizes. If it will ever load. I'm going to do a letter size poster, and it's going to default set to 300 ppi or dpi, which you can change in the advanced options, but that's the minimum for print work. 8.5 by 11. Okay. Click. Sorry, my screen capture software is interfering with my clicking ability. Okay, so these first four tools are different selection methods. I'll get into that later. Here is your text tool. Here's gradient. And this is the paintbrush. All of these have different settings, which you would find in tool options in the lower part of the menu. This menu over here is for your layers. Now, if you want a color other than white, you can change your background color. We'll just use the dump tool. You can do pattern fills, you can do foreground or background color, and it's selected here. That's your color menu. So the color that's in front is your foreground color, and then the color that's in back is your background color. And we'll just do some silly colors at random. Oh no, this is not going to work. Like I said, it's not letting me click right. Here is text tool, and it's automatically going to be the foreground color. And you can change the font here. We'll just do this one. The size changes there. Oh. If you want to manipulate the text layer, you have to go into your layers menu and say discard text information. And then it will treat the text layer like an image. So here now you can use this fuzzy select tool to select the text. And what I'm going to do to add to the selection is hit shift on my keyboard, and then I can click inside the little bubbles in the E and the O and D's and B's and things like that. And what I just selected is the outside. So I selected the opposite of the text. So what you can do is go to your selection menu and say invert. And now the text is selected. So if I were to do something like apply a gradient to the text, I could. So here in your gradient layer, you can change the shape. You can do a radial gradient. Change the opacity. So that's applying those colors. Say select none, so we can see it better. That's applying those colors to that selection. Another thing you can do now that this is treated as an image is put a filter on the layer. So you can like distort it, make it look like newsprint. There's all different kinds of filters. I'll just do a blur and pixelize. And then each filter has a different menu, and you can mess with the options, and you can, most of them let you preview what you're about to do. So if this is pixelized, that's what it looks like. A lot of this is hit or miss, and it's about experimentation, and obviously there's a ton of different filters, so it doesn't always, you can't always tell what they're going to do. And having it be a flat one color background, it's probably not the best thing to show the filters on. So getting into layers, here in this menu you can add new layers, and you can have them have different sizes and colors. So this one I'm going to show you, we'll change the background color. This new layer will be our new background color, which I changed for the gradient. It's purple now. So these layers, the top layer is on top. So if you were to move this text layer underneath the purple layer, move, you can reorder them with these buttons. It usually lets me drag them, but I think it's the screen capture software. So you can reorder your layers, and that's effectively, I mean, there's transparency, but sometimes it hides them. So by reordering these layers, it changes what the picture looks like. Now it's not letting me do it at all. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to move this purple layer beneath the blue background layer, and then you can't see the purple layer at all anymore. Come on. Oh, the screen capture software is really making me mad. Okay. If you were to export the file with this layer hidden, this is what it would look like. It doesn't export hidden layers. So that's another way to mess with it and not have to deal with that. I'm going to show you two more things. Maybe three. Okay, so these tools are like shearing tools, perspective tools. You can take this text and transform it. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and as you drag these boxes, it will show you a preview of what the text would look like with this new grid applied to it. This is good for if someone's holding a sign in a photo, you can change the perspective, and if you line this grid up with the flat piece of paper, it will look like it's on the piece of paper. You have to hit transform, and then it applies it. Loading, loading, loading. All of these tools do that sort of thing. These tools down here are erasers, smudge, that kind of thing. These are selection tools. This ink pen is for paths and vectoring and that kind of thing. It's not really important. This is the color picker. And we did text, yeah. Okay, the last two things I wanted to show you. Image. There's a lot of settings in here. Merging layers, flattening images. Flattening your image gets rid of the layer data. So if you don't want your layers for some reason anymore, you're happy with your image, it's final, you can do it through this, or you can just export and that will do the same thing. Add an image file. You have a picture you like, you want it on your poster. You say open as layers, and then you can do that, and now that picture is in your image as a layer, and you can hide that layer, do all the layer things, move it under. Now you can save your file, and the GIMP extension is XCF, and that saves all your layer data, all the text information. You can go back and edit your text in GIMP. It's good. But you can't upload an XCF to the internet and have people view it in a browser. You just can't. You need GIMP to open an XCF. So what we're going to do is export, and you got to go File, Export As, and then you can save it as a PNG. You can change your file type right here. You know, it shows you all different file types. I would suggest PNG or maybe JPEG. Just depends on what you want to do. Export. It's going to give you these options. It's not important. Just hit export. Okay, and that's my short-ish GIMP tutorial. Bye. One last very important thing. Sometimes these toolboxes get closed. If you close this window, this middle window, all of GIMP closes out. But if you close these, they just kind of disappear. And if that ever happens to you, just go to Windows, Recently Closed Docs, and then reopen whichever one you want.